Hey Chris, Kaylee, congrats on Mercy. It's so good to see you in person and not through a drone or a security camera for a change.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, here we are in Mexico City. It's wonderful to be here.
Welcome to the estreno, and I'm going to start with you, Chris. There's this constant clash between Raven's intuition and Maddox's only trusting data. In this day and age, do you feel that human instinct remains the ultimate advantage we have over AI? And maybe would you say that it is what makes us merciful?
Yes, I think that's very well said. I think it is the only advantage we have over AI. Our humanity and our fallibility, our brokenness is what makes us special and makes us interesting. And so, yeah, I think that's the advantage we have. Certainly it's not processing speed. I don't think we'll ever catch up in that regard. But yeah, our humanity makes us special. And I remember I saw ChatGPT got asked if you could be a human being, what would you do for one day? And it said, I just would look at the sky. I would just feel something. I think our emotions that's why we were put here, you know, this image of God to like experience the world and our brokenness. That is actually our advantage over AI.
That's so sad.
That's very
I feel bad for ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Kaylee, Maddox doesn't understand gray areas or mistakes. Does working under that kind of digital pressure make your character more of a machine herself? And what was your approach to portraying that?
You know, she tried to do her best in her life, my character, Jack Diallo, to not have a gray area. The gray area is what got her, my own backstory, the one I created, has got her feeling the way she does about justice and why she has such a drive to make sure that justice is served. There's no gray area. This is what it is, it's black and white, and that really helped me, knowing where she came from, really make the decisions that she makes in this film make sense to me, to make sense for the audience. And I just think that was such a clear vision. And it was so opposite of what's going on, too. You know, there's so many gray areas, especially with Chris's character, that, you know, Jack Diallo has maybe a little tinge because she has a loyalty to her partner, but she is very black and white in what she wants and what she wants for this mercy system.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, Chris, acting from the mercy chair sounds like a total workout for the mind.
Yes.
And how was the experience of staying in that zone, working on this different format, knowing that the screen live cameras were catching every tiny detail so closely and in such a different way from a traditional lens?
Yeah, it was a real challenge. It was a mental workout. Certainly, there was a lot going on inside of my brain, and in fact, I made sure that there was even more going on in my brain than would normally be happening in a scene. I had an earwig that I was using to listen to the director and to listen to the other actors, but I had another earwig that I had my associate in a private room talking to me, and I had written an entire dialogue for him to say to me through the course of the movie. So I was listening to basically all of the subtext. I just allowed him to be my character's thought process, telling me how terrible I was for committing this crime and that I was never going to escape and that my daughter hates me and all of these different things. It was really nice, actually. It worked as a great tool to remind myself what I should be thinking in those moments. And so it was a real kind of mental gymnastics to do these really long takes and vacillate between the emotional beats and the action beats and the dramatic beats and meanwhile understanding where my eye lines need to be and interacting with people who are not actually there. So it felt very technically very challenging, even though I didn't have to move my body a lot. I was doing a lot with my brain.
You did everything with your brain, and it shows, and it kept us like really immersed in the movie, and
Great.
We love that.
Thank you.
And Kaylee, Jack has this devoted trust in the algorithm's infallibility. What was it like to explore that mindset, and do you think that in the near future we will actually reach a point where we could trust the machine's data more than our own human judgment?
I hope not. I truly hope not. I hope that we stick to our empathy, our thoughts, our mistakes, our, you know, energy, you know, reading the room. I love having that interaction. That inner talk that he's talking about, you know, I don't want ChatGPT in my ear telling me what to think, you know what I mean? And I love when people have different opinions, you know, that's what makes a beautiful world. It takes a lot of different people to make a beautiful world, you know, you have the good, the bad, the in-between, you have a lot of gray areas, so I hope that we don't get that point. I really hope that we don't have that dependence. Like I said, a lot of too much of anything is not a good thing. So I hope that we maintain that balance and maintain that humanity, put the phones down, have, ChatGPT wants to go look at the sky, go hug a tree, go look at the sky with your friends, please.
Yeah, like follow that advice,
Yes.
And for both of you, since your characters spend most of the time interacting through screens, how did you manage to build that connection of bond off camera?
All through the rehearsal process, understanding who these characters are, what their backstories are, how we became partners, what she has gone through to be where she is, what I've gone through to be where I am. I think diving deep into who these characters are and how much they would rely on one another was a big part of that. And also hanging out with people who work in the LAPD homicide division and seeing how closely they relate with their partners and what their partners mean to them was a big thing. So it's authentic to make sure we had a very strong bond, because that's absolutely a necessity for these folks.
Yeah, and to translate that to seeing on the screen, you interact on the screens, but you feel that bond, you feel that you trust in each other, so that's fantastic. You want to say something?
Oh no, I would just go off the same thing that he was saying, that building those, knowing where he was coming from, even to the tiny details, did we ever go to each other's house for dinner? Like we had extensive conversations, so that the phone conversations, because we weren't in the same room, were really authentic. It was just wasn't just another phone call, it was the phone call, but it made it that much easier to really fall into that line.
And that translates to the screens. And finally, if Maddox had access to your search history right now, would she declare you innocent, or would you be found guilty of anything?
I'd be so guilty of having ADHD, because I ask a lot. I Google a lot of things that I already know, and there's nothing, they're all over the place. So I'd be guilty of this, she needs help.
And you agree?
I don't think I'd be guilty of any heinous crimes, but I'd certainly be guilty of being a human being. I think, I have a lot of work to do, and I think, search history would probably just illustrate some of the areas of my life that I need some work.
We're all a work in progress. It's okay.
That's true. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's lovely. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
For having you on the estreno. We're so thrilled to Mercy. It's such a different film, and you did an amazing job. So thank you for your work.
Thank you,
Thank
Reba,
you
and we'll
so
see you
much.
tonight at the fan event.
We'll see
Yes.
you
I'm
tonight.
excited.
Yes.
Have fun and enjoy your day in Mexico.
Thank
you.
you so much.